Hello, Gooby here. Today I'd like to talk about how a thought is a seed that can grow into a tree. I was listening to the introduction to a book, the Bhagavad Gita. I haven't even started the actual book, but the introduction was very interesting. They're talking about karma and how karma is the cause and effect that's intertwined in everything. We're also talking about how a thought can be the seed that creates things in our life, both good and bad, and then how what we put out comes back to us. Now, I see that a lot in watching just what happens to people. Violent people often end up being hurt violently. But then you also see peaceful people end up being hurt violently. So I don't know how that happens. There's a incredible number of environmental activists that have been murdered in Latin America. It's raining out here, so I'm gonna try to keep the lens clear periodically. There. Part of me wonders whether religions, plural, are really just like a way to cope with a way of life that doesn't make sense to us, naturally on just a very deep level, and that disconnect necessitates developing ways of thinking to placate the mind and the soul, to endure a system that doesn't really make sense. Well, I was thinking, what kind of seed do I want to plant? What kind of tree do I want to grow, and where do I want it to grow? There are a lot of trees behind me, and there's a really cool whirlpool, or just kind of bubbles from the water flowing over this rock. That's pretty neat. The rest of the water is flowing very quickly, but it's pretty smooth, except for right there. There's a rock underneath the water, and the water rushes over the top of it and then down, and it gets sucked down, and then it brings in the atmosphere with it, making bubbles and white water. I feel like I am a rock right now. Well, I guess the universe is flowing. It's always changing. And I'm choosing to shape the flow in a certain way. Kind of like that rock chooses to shape the flow of the river. That's always changing. The rock's changing too. The rock's changing shape with the water. It's getting eroded away, it's moving. So what kind of thought and seed do I want to plant in my life? Because it'll come back to me. Well, I think I would want to plant a seed that helps me be at peace. But not a coping peace. Not like I do these mental gymnastics and then I feel okay with a situation that I didn't feel okay with on a very deep level. Not that kind of peace. I want a peace that comes from that deep level? I want a tree that grows really tall from that. From a piece that comes from a very deep level. And what does that mean? I don't know. Well, let's see, what does that mean? Not a cope. Not a mind trick. Not a, hey, you just gotta bear with it and in the next life you'll reach heaven. No, not, I want a peace in this life. Right now, in the present. Not in some future that doesn't exist. Because the only thing that exists to me is now. Now, I know the past did exist, but it doesn't exist anymore. Only right now. Me standing in the rain, my dog with her raincoat on looking at me like, what the heck are we doing out in the rain? Being out by this river that is very full, but this part's peaceful. This is what exists to me. This exists right now. Now, the curious thing about this video is that this video will show a moment from the past. But you watching that video is in the present. You are watching right now in the present, not the past. So I want a tree that grows from the peace from the present. That's what I want. That's the seed I just planted. Now, how do I get there? Well, I think that first, just knowing what you want, and saying that's where I want to go, I think is probably the most important thing. Like when you plant a seed, say you want to grow some food. Oh, interestingly, I heard of the three sisters. It's a Native American name for squash, corn, and beans. You plant three of them together, the three different plants, and they are symbiotic. The corn comes up first. This is from Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Still reading that book. It's full of really amazing concepts and ideas and stories. I'm going to share one of them with you. The corn goes up first, and then the bean likes to, it's like a vine, it finds the vertical stalk of the corn and it wraps around it. But after the corn has established itself, and then the squash sends out branches and rootlets on the ground to keep the moisture in. They each have a different area within the same space, and they grow together. And the beans underground, they have these oxygen-free nodules where bacteria take nitrogen from the air and convert it into something that's usable by all three plants. It's called nitrogen fixing. Nitrogen is one of the most abundant gases that we all breathe in. When you breathe right now and you're watching this video, you're breathing in, I think it's like 70% nitrogen. I'm not sure exactly the percentage, but it's very high. It's the most abundant. I just got a raindrop in my eyeball. Why was I talking about that? Well, I lost my train of thought after getting a raindrop in my eyeball. I just wanted to share that's pretty neat, that it's not a monoculture. It's three seeds, three different plants growing together. I remember why I was talking about it. Besides the fact that it's really neat that three different plants can grow in the same square meter of earth and they help each other grow. And from a human standpoint, you get a complete nutrition from corn, beans, and squash. That's pretty miraculous plants that give us food, and that's amazing. Well, the reason why I brought it up is when you plant a seed, you don't you don't um, you don't know every step that the corn and the beans and the squash are gonna do. They just do it. It just happens. It just happens, and like you help it along some, but it just does its thing. And then come harvest time, you've got corn, squash, and beans. You didn't have to like figure out every step. You just had to figure out what you wanted to happen. Well, I think that planting a thought seed is like that. You just gotta figure out, what do I want? Do I want to be stuck? Do I want to be depressed and angry all the time? Well, not really. No, I'd rather find a peace from a very deep level. Yeah, I would like that, and not some like superficial coping. To yeah. Well, I was thinking about just the way things are and kind of the injustices of this of life, and how it seems like slavery has just continued but in a different form, and we don't call it slavery anymore, but it's kind of similar to pretty much what most humans have been living under for the last 10,000 years, at least. It probably went before this type of agriculture, but for sure it's been going on for at least 10,000 years. That's a really long time. That's many generations. But not everywhere. We know, even more recently, even currently, that there are people that are still living in tribes, in hunter-gatherer tribes. There are very few now, but there were many people living that way, even like a couple hundred years ago. Like definitely 1,000 years ago, there was a lot of people living that way. There is a way to live differently that I think gives people more peace from a deeper level, where you're connected with the world we live in and not ripped from it, separated from it artificially. I am definitely in the world right now, very wet, and there's really cool clouds going overhead. I think you can see it in the camera. Maybe. Got this river flowing by. Cool bubbles. I like being out here, but now I don't know how to survive out here all the time. I retreat to my truck, powered by fossil fuels, and then drive home. And then I meet up with my friends online, on Discord, and then I convert this video and audio into a video file, and I upload it to YouTube. And I get food from the grocery store. So I mean, I am still in this way of life. I'm still alive. I've survived 41 years, and even though I quit a job that paid a lot of money, I am still alive. I'm still surviving. I'm just trying to find my way. So I'm not living a hunter-gatherer lifestyle, but I'm just trying to find my way, and I'm planting that seed, that thought seed, knowing that I don't need to figure out all the intervening steps. I mean, maybe eventually I do, but I'm just planting the seed, and I think it'll grow. It'll come back. It'll come back to me. I don't want to plant seeds of strife and division and hate. I don't want to plant seeds of suffering. and sadness. I have planted a lot of seeds of sadness in my life. I have a lot of sad trees in my life. No, I don't really want to do that anymore. I'd rather plant seeds of peace, happiness, joy. Well, I feel like part of that is also embracing the full aspects of being human, including at times being angry or violent. think I think in order to really fully feel all of that, you have to feel and experience and channel all of the human emotions. Yeah. I'm not sure how it's all going to turn out, but that's the cool thing about being alive. If you knew everything that's going to happen, well, it'd be really boring. I mean, why would you keep going if you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen next year. I know exactly what's going to happen next week at 3 o'clock, 53 minutes in the afternoon. Like, that wouldn't be very interesting. Sometimes I feel like the universe is just doing all this to play with itself, to figure itself out, to know itself. And that maybe the fact that we built all these nuclear weapons and have this very oppressive civilization that's very destructive, maybe it's just the universe just playing with itself. And it just wants to see, hey, what would happen if we had this civilization of human beings that at a push of a button could incinerate themselves and most of the other life forms, and then in the process, while they're holding each other at nuclear gunpoint, they destroy lots of the life forms through extinction. Yeah. Maybe that's just the universe playing with itself. But I have a feeling that thought is a cope. To just like be like, okay, yeah, the situation's kind of messed up. Maybe it's just supposed to be that way. I don't know. Maybe that's the way to deeper peace. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's just covering things up. Because I don't feel like it's a good idea to hold each other at nuclear gunpoint. It doesn't seem like a good idea. It doesn't seem like a good idea to make our own home, our one home, the Earth, polluted and destroyed. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good idea. So, yeah. But I think I'm going to be more conscious of the seeds I'm planting. Yeah. I want to plant seeds, peace, happiness, love, unity, connectedness, health, well-being. I have a feeling that in order to achieve those things, you also have to feel all of the other things. Sadness, depression, anger, frustration, hate. I don't know. Do you have to feel all those things? I think you do. I think you gotta feel the full gamut of emotions. Everything. Yeah, I get a little suspicious of religions or ideology that try to like just placate, that say that, oh yeah, at some point you'll just be okay with everything, that you'll just be one with everything and there's nothing else, that's it. But maybe I just don't understand it. I mean, I can try to be one with everything right now. Let's see. Well, I'm happy to be alive. Hey Doobie, you doing okay? Yeah? You wanna come here? Alright, I think it's time to hang out with Doobie, and then we'll go get somewhere a little drier.